So if you've went through an ego death or an awakening or spiritual awakening or self-realization or whatever you want to call it, whatever the word or the phrase of the day is, you've probably noticed some of your relationships are dwindling. They're going away. And it hurts at first because you just don't understand. But it's because you're centered on something that other people really aren't. The majority of people aren't centered on self-realization and walking through your ego and finding all your traumas and trying to heal those traumas in a way that brings you back to your natural being. Well, because it's scary. It's scary and it's demanding. And you have to be persistent, consistent, empathetic, sensitive. And when you start living authentically, in awareness, in consciousness, with a degree of vulnerability, the masks that you've wore your whole life suddenly start filtering away. And you're no longer the person you used to be. And you're not quite the person you're going to be. You're kind of in this void area. And honestly, people don't know how to handle that. So people that used to like you will now just absolutely hate you because you're pointing at something. Especially people that are very heavily involved in certain religions. People that are heavily involved in political movements. People that are heavily involved in all sorts of different pop culture portions that you are no longer interested in. And they dwindle. They don't always just go away. Sometimes they're still in your life because they're now your teacher. They're going to teach you all the things that you don't want to do and don't want to be involved in. And it's not a judgment. You're not saying that they're bad or good. You're just saying, no, that's not for me. That's not me. That's not who I am. I just picked up a copy of Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind by Shinichiro Suzuki. I studied under one of his students when I lived in Minneapolis for quite a few years. And that's the guy that hipped me to Zen Buddhism and Taoism and gave me my very first copy of Autobiography of a Yogi, and which I read feverishly at age 19. Anyhow, in Zen Mind's Beginner's Mind, there's this little passage where he talks about thoughts being like weeds, and you pluck them. And in Japan, they take weeds and they bury them next to the more preferable plants, and those weeds decompose and become nutrients in the soil to help the preferred plants to grow. And he likens that to mind. So you're plucking away the little parts of your ego that no longer serve to center on more preferable thought patterns, practices, awarenesses, consciousness. And that runs hand in hand with losing relationships. They filter away because you were looking at things that people aren't really interested in looking at. You're seeing things that people aren't supposed to see. I mean, it's so simple. You just sit quietly. Just sit quietly. When the thoughts come, recognize them for what they are. They're not you. They're little trappings of the illusory world. They're duality. You are singular. Your mind, your body, your ego, all of that is one. And then you're one with the sky. You're one with the water. You're one with the earth. You're one with source. And that consciousness comes forward and it pushes people away. People that aren't supposed to be there. Because maybe it's not their path. Maybe it's not their destiny. And that doesn't mean you can't be kind. You can't be conscientious. You can't be empathetic. What it means is you can't be attached. Don't attach yourself to people or things in a way that make you think that you're better for it. It's make-believe, it's pretend. It's not real. None of this belongs to you. Nothing. You can have a really nice coffee cup. And when you're dead, that coffee cup is going to wind up sitting in Goodwill somewhere for somebody to pay $2.25 for. None of this has value. None of it. Even the things that gain an intrinsic value have no value because you can't attach anything to this body. The pain body is very temporary. So if you're going through this stuff and you're losing friends, just remember, whatever source takes away, source gives back 10 times better. The right people are just right around the corner. Everything you could possibly hope for is right around the corner. Maintain your daily practice. Sit quietly, observe, be the witness until you no longer need to be the witness. And the mind is just always calm, always coherent, always practical. And with that, as always, much love.